ALTBAYS show. It's live with Leo and special guest on my right, Sushi, cruising in the studio, living the good life, living the dog life. Hey, chasing things, shitting. Someone picks up your shit. You eat, you sleep. Someone takes you for a run. Good life, Sushi. Thank you. If you're watching us right now, you're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to our channel. We also have the ALTBAYS clips, where you can find snippets and short versions of these beautiful conversations that we've been having now for 9 months. It's a baby. It's born, done, ready. Here we go. Good times. Hey, 9 months, hey. 10 months? Wow, amazing. We're having fun. Show 132. We haven't skipped one yet. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. That's pretty cool. And we still have full-time jobs. And now we're releasing a new magazine called Coral Mind. So our media group, beautiful collective work, releasing this magazine in January. If you want to be part of it, send us an email or a message and we will tell you the drill, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's coming together and it's looking amazing. So stay with us. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok with those beautiful clips that sparks a lot of curiosity and conversation too. So yeah, make sure to check us there. Hi, Azzie.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers, cheers.
Azzie McLean.
Yes, indeed.
But the first name is actually?
As one, or come together as one.
As one.
Indeed, yes. It's an Egyptian city of Aswan in Egypt. My mum's friends were there just before I was born, and hence I got the name through it. Apparently it's a beautiful city, and there's a big dam over the Nile.
Probably, not probably.
Oh, definitely. I got the name out of it.
I was saying, no, I was about to say the only person with that name in the world. That's what I was.
Oh, yes. Yep. Well, the only one I found with the spelling the way my mum spelled it. So.
Which is?
AZWHAYN. So it's spelled phonetically. I was brought up Steiner and all that sort of thing. So
the school is Steiner.
Yeah,
is that what you mean?
The Steiner school. So I went to Steiner school through. I went all through the whole of schooling. I went through Steiner actually.
Where was it?
So started at Fossil Bay Farm on Waiheke Island, and then I went to Michael Park Steiner. No, I didn't go to Michael Park. I tried to get in there and never got in. Went to Titirangi Steiner School, and then we moved to Christchurch, and I went to the Christchurch Steiner School. So yeah, Steiner all and through my whole. Few different schools mixed in the mix, but they were all Steiner schools.
Before I ask you more about that, I just want to say thank you to our friend Slice Baby for bringing this beautiful food here for us. Beautiful Kai, thank you so much. If you're coming for a holiday in the Coromandel, which I just heard on the radio, it's at its full capacity. Woo-hoo-hoo. So if you haven't booked your holidays for the Coromandel, good luck. If you have already, make sure to check them out. Beautiful local pizza, beautiful family. Mike, our bro, always shouting our fun pizza Friday, always delicious food. So check them out. Thank you so much, man. For the people who have no idea what the Steiner education is, can you kind of like put it in a nutshell? I know that we can go quite deep with that, but
it's a holistic way of learning and teaching where it's based more on the seasons and festivals, and I found it incorporates more the inner child more. So you do a lot of play, and you don't start actual school until 7. So you get to be a kid for a lot longer through the whole kindy process, and it's all wooden toys. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's not for everyone, but I really enjoyed it, and most of the people that I find through my life are actually Steiner kids as well, funnily enough. It's quite cool.
I guess like it's hard for you to compare or to say, oh yeah, that's how it is compared to that one, because you went to Steiner.
I don't know any different yet. So I went to Steiner my whole schooling career. So,
but when people have the choice, when they have access to a Steiner school, what do you think are the motivations to to choose like that. Does it change anything when it comes to your qualifications, or like at the end of it you have the same qualifications as?
You have exactly the same qualifications. Most designer schools in New Zealand are part state funded. So the qualifications you have the same. We got NCEA, we got all that sort of thing, but we also got all the other things the designer school had to offer. So we had like a garden out the back, and we used to learn how to garden. Me and a few friends would be doing gardening, and then the cooking classes at school would buy stuff out of our garden for the cooking classes. So it was this, it's just more wholesome, and there's more play, I find. So
I was reading that you're on a wheelchair since you were 3 years old. Is that right?
So no, that's I've been on and off since I was 3. So I was running around like a normal 3-year-old kid, and then suddenly within a week I was falling over my feet. Didn't know what was happening. My feet were going all funny, and I ended up back in a pushchair, back crawling. And yeah, so it's been ever since then. I've had 3 major operations. So I've had my Achilles tendons lengthened, I've had my ankles fused, and I've had what's called a triple arthrodesis, where they take part of my heel bone, put it on the other side, put bolts, and I don't exactly know how it all works, but I've had my feet remade.
Oh wow! So like, was it like an investigation kind of thing? Like they were thinking, oh, we should do this. There was no actually answer.
There
to what
was
happening?
no answers. It was Mum was running around going, "What's going on?" And none of the doctors in New Zealand knew back then. They gave me different diagnoses all the time, thinking, "Oh, it could be this, or it could be that, or it could be that," but they weren't sure. So it wasn't until I was 16 that I had my genes sequenced in Germany, and they actually did a sequence of my genes, and found out exactly what I had. So it's taken a lot of trial and confusion, and people not knowing, or them going, well, you could be a little bit of that, or you got symptoms like that, but you don't have symptoms. So.
A gene sequence.
Yeah, I got my genes sequenced in a lab in Germany. And they found out that my gigaxin gene has got 2 of you get 4 different numbers or letters that make up your DNA, and 2 of mine are backwards. So the gigaxin gene, which is normally triggers the recycling system in your axons. So my condition is called Giant Azonal Neuropathy. So my axons are giant, and it's a peripheral nerve disease. So the normal gigaxin gene would trigger the axons at the end of my nerves to kind of our bodies replenish everything once in a while. My gene doesn't quite work properly. So the axons at the end of my nerves sometimes get removed, and sometimes they just stay there. So the end of my nerve just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the signal from my brain gets down the nerve, gets to the end and goes, and then we'll jump off it, but it will hit the wrong part of the muscle or won't get through. So it's like I've got a telephone book, but it's got the wrong area code in it. So my body, sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't work. The muscles work fine. It's the nerves that are telling the muscles what to do that don't.
So it's actually nothing targeted to the legs or the feet. It just happened that in your case.
And out of the 1 in how many million people there are, my biological parents had the right gene together, and I came around with it. So I'm pretty rare. I'm the only one in New Zealand with my condition. There's a guy in Australia, there's a few guys in America, Germany, India.
Do you guys have like a WhatsApp group?
We've got there's a few different groups we're in, and there's a big Facebook group. There's a charity in America called Hannah's Hope Fund, and there's a girl called Hannah whose parents have spent millions and millions of dollars researching and trying to find a gene therapy. So I think they're in phase 1 or 2 trials at the moment with it. They did want me to take part in part of it, but one of the head researchers was like, well, you're doing a lot better than some of the other people with it, and we don't quite know what this is going to do yet, so just hold off, wait and see what it does with people that are more severe. And they're using me as kind of a guinea pig trial. So they've got my skin samples and DNA samples in America.
Yeah.
And there's a little chunk where they took a chunk out of my skin that they're growing in a test tube over there.
After you heard that, did you feel good that she, like, which approach did you take on her answer? Oh, good, like it's a trial, there's people who need more, or you were like, damn, I wish I had that opportunity.
So this was an interesting kind of, part of me was really, really, really excited. Something's happening. Something's happening good. There's someone doing something. The other part of me was like, oh, not sure. And then it had my mum and that going, and a few family members going, this doesn't seem very safe. The medical trials on that, when you're, let's be safe here. So I was excited, but also unsure. I was optimistic, but I didn't know if it was real, what they were doing, if it was going to come out, anything was going to come out of it. And yeah, pretty much. I was mixed emotions.
Did you? Wow, that's an interesting one, because it seems like it needs support to happen. It needs someone to go for it and say like, we gotta try this. But actually, the way that I'm seeing is like it could unfold a lot of other discoveries as well, like, because it seems to be very specific to go for the gene thing. So I wonder if there are other researchers for different conditions in the body that you could relate to and find these connections.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think they have found a few drugs that do work for Shakomari tooth, and a few drugs that are used for other things that they are trialing with it to see. I don't know a lot about them. Some of them I was like, yeah, and some of them I was like, no, I'm staying away from all that sort of thing. I'm going to figure out my own stuff.
That's what I wanted to ask when it comes to those choices of going for the pharmaceuticals, going for the drugs, because it feels to me, the conversations that we had, you're much more for like a natural approach.
Oh, yeah.
So like, how is that balance of understanding that maybe medicine could help you heaps, but that means going against what you...
Going against that sort of thing, where I'm in the boat of, if it's something specific targeted to my condition that could help with it, I'm interested in finding out about it. But I've found in my own journey, I've found doing things naturally with herbs or supplements, not going down the pharmaceutical route, has benefited me. And in my own experience, talking to doctors and specialists and all that, they're like, that's probably one of the reasons why you're still going and alive, because I haven't let all the doctors who thought, oh, this might help you, we don't know, but try this drug. And then my mum piped up going, oh, fuck off, look at the side effects on that sort of thing. We're not giving that to them. So it's, if I can do it without taking pharmaceutical drugs, I'm going to do it. So they have their time and a place for everything. My granddad wouldn't be alive without them. I'm sure they've helped me through things, but I would rather take a bunch of different herbs that have worked for millennia, that actually work with my body and my experience.
And at the end of the day, those chemicals will come from those plants anyway, right?
Exactly. Well, that's where all those things come from. That's where it all comes from. They just highly concentrate it and turn it into something and then mix it in with something else. I don't know. Which
substances, or which are you like, do you feel pain? Do you feel like any constant pain or like discomfort? So, I think before my question, that helps to know that.
That one's, I'm consistently inconsistent with things. So I do get quite a lot of muscle pain. Your shoulders, then your shoulder joint is not designed to push a wheelchair. So the way I get lots of muscle pain and aches and pains just from sitting in a chair all day, and having certain muscles overdeveloped and other ones undeveloped. I do get some pain. I can deal with most of it, but I find ways to deal with it, and I like finding what the pain is caused by and dealing with that instead. So working on the gym, working on my shoulders so I don't get as sore. So I found most of the pain I've got is due to having weaker muscles or bad posture, or some of it is just in pain for something. So I do get it. I've got a pretty high pain threshold, I've been told. I used to walk around, well, not walk around, crawl around the house, and there'd be a blood trail following me. And I would have cut my foot or something and would not have known. So it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting kind of going, oh, my body's doing that today, or what? Oh, okay, it's working there, okay. That's not going well, okay.
Putting up with pain is good, man.
It's good. That
You can get
reminds you
those
you're alive.
whips. Psh,
Yeah,
come
God, yeah. It
on,
reminds you you're alive.
Hit me.
Yeah.
Go for it.
God, yeah. Different conversation.
Different conversation. We're gonna get there.
Yeah,
We're gonna get there soon.
Yeah.
What helps? What helps you? Herbs or anything, or like we were talking about cacao before.
I love cacao. I remember doing my first cacao ceremony a few years back, and it waking my body up. The mixture of the magnesium, the ribitol, and what was in the cacao, and how it worked with my body. It energized me. It made me want to move a bit more. It felt like I was coming up on drugs, but I just felt good. And ever since then, cacao has been, it's definitely, I enjoy it.
So no trip.
No, yeah, it's not really a trip. It's more, when you do cacao ceremonies, you could go into a little bit of a trance state through the high magnesium, the fact that it does affect your heart. It opens it up in good ways. It opens the blood vessels up, so you do feel enlightened or elated. But yeah, it's not like a trip.
Yeah.
So.
What about CBD?
CBD I find does help with certain pain and spasms and just chilling me out. So I found CBD, I like making it into an oil or a balm. I've had it in balms and for massage rubs or that, or the CBD drops you can get from some certain places. CBD, I like CBD a lot more than THC. THC can be fun, but it can get you paranoid or can not be as useful as you'd want it to be.
Do you feel like sometimes the paranoia can be a good reminder of things that are going on?
It can be a good reminder.
It becomes a mirror,
a little bit of a mirror, or of okay, yep, that's what that does. Okay, don't matter, yeah. So it can be a little bit of a mirror, yeah.
Are you do you know about researches on like psilocybin and other MDMA and that stuff that is happening in New Zealand? Seems to be a good push at the moment.
There is stuff happening at I think Auckland Uni and a few places. So I know there is research going on, and I'm quite interested in it, and I'm glad that people are actually going, hey, this was used for medical research years ago. It was something that worked. Why did we not keep looking at it in the medicinal way? So I'm all for doing in a controlled environment when you've got people who know what they're talking about for people, because some stuff doesn't work for some people. They need a different approach.
Do you like to talk about those things? Are you open when
I'm
people
pretty
because
open to it, yeah.
Because sometimes we get people who just don't make sense of it, and it's very easy to avoid a conversation for like fearing looking ignorant, and but on the other hand, sometimes you just avoid at all because you don't even want to bother having to explain because it's something that is very hard to explain. But I feel like, I won't say that it's our obligation, but like as a younger generation that wants to see that change, sometimes that time is worth it, sitting with someone and saying so many people could be benefiting from those what we call the psychedelics or whatever, or the CBD, THC, like people in pain that could be feeling great.
or they've been like, I'm not going to name names here at all, but I've had a friend who really suffered a lot from pain, and I made some brownies for myself one day and gave her one, and the difference, I saw her there sitting on a couch, hanging out with us watching a movie, which most people, that's normal. For her, that was unthought about, because usually 5 minutes in, she would have been up twitching, she would have had to get up and stretch, she would have been on the ground doing some movements, trying to get her body going, she would have been in spasms. So all these different, but that was for her. Some people I've seen, it's not good for at all. So it's very situational, I find.
Very similar with the pharmaceuticals, but why can't we get the pharmaceuticals just over there, right?
Money.
Money,
maybe, or maybe I don't know. I'm not educated enough on that situation, but it does intrigue me.
What was the approach with education that you chose? Like what things did you go for once you finished school? And
so when I finished school, what did I do when I finished school? I did a hospitality course, actually.
Was it accessible?
I made it accessible. So it was my old cooking teacher from high school. He had moved where he was and he was running a course, and I was like, yeah, I'll come and do that because it's fun. I get to cook, and we made it accessible enough. So there were a few things that I couldn't quite do. So that was the first little bit after school I went to, doing a little bit of hospitality, just playing around really. So, and then I kind of went from that, studied a bit of marketing. I thought I had an idea that I was going to be a marketing guru. Then I realised that business and me and maths and accounting and, So I'll give it a go. Wasn't me. But then was looking at doing the diploma in culinary arts at AUT at one point, and then I realised that was going to be a little bit too difficult, just getting around the kitchen and the whole too hard basket for everything at the time. So I did a sport and rec degree at AUT, and that was good. Exercise science and nutrition. Didn't quite finish it, but I got a lot out of it, and it definitely was more up my alley. I have things I like to do.
Was that some revelations for you there? Were there moments that you were like, oh, this is actually going to change my life, the way that I do things and see things?
It gave me a lot of confidence in myself, being what I'm doing it's kind of cool, and people are a bit more interested in what I'm doing, and the stuff that I thought was just easy day, just me doing shit, people going, oh wow, that's cool, or cool, or how do you do that, or can we get involved, or one of the biggest things was when we did a leadership course at AUT with the sport one, and we went on little sailing boats to Shakespeare Park. So we sailed across the harbour and we just camped there and stuff, and I was very involved. I like sailing. It was something I could do in the group, but then I organised all the food for it. I helped out set the camp up, do all the food, all that, organised it all, took part with some of the people. But I managed the part that specifically reminds me is I had this way of changing the group dynamic. In a group of very sporty, competitive uni students, in a group, then putting me in the group, it took the competitive side out of some of the students who were a lot better at things. And they changed from going, I'm going to win this, to how do we get everyone to the end. So they did like a little tramp thing. And it was about not just getting there and done, it was how do we help everyone else. So I just got a little bit, oh, that's cool, because the group changed a little bit because everyone was included. So it was fun.
That approach to being competitive, it's such a hot topic when it comes to education, because a lot of people say, nah, you need a little bit of that competition.
Well, it's healthy. A little bit is healthy. It's healthy, yes.
But it's easy to get out of hand as well, right?
It's easy to get out of hand with, yes. Yeah.
I think especially when I see it in a way of more like the rewards than the competition itself. You know, like, oh, you competed, oh, good on you, like you were actually better. But then there's this thing with like the trophy, the prize, and like, oh,
God, yeah.
and then the other ones are looking, and like, and that's sometimes what gets me a little bit, like those prize giving stuff. You're like, well, you already made it. Like the peak of adrenaline that you would have from being the best was that moment that you crossed the line or whatever. And now you have to make all the other ones feel like shit just because you know, like,
just because you got there. Yeah.
I respect it, but I find it an interesting human thing that we do, you know.
Yeah, we have some weird things us humans get up to. The human condition is quite funny.
Let's make a list. What are they?
Grass is always greener on the other side is one of them. It's about making the most of what's going on at the moment and not going, oh, it'll be better when this happens, or I'll be better when we get there. But it's like, well, just enjoy the moment at the moment, and who knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
Do people feel pity or sorry for you? Is it something that you have to deal with, like as a child?
As a kid, it was interesting. I found it. I'd be going around, and sometimes I can get away with blue murder, which is not always good. I used to be able to get away with being a cheeky little shit. I'd never wait in the line at a club. I'd just go straight to the front door and go through. Or it was good, but then some of the pity, I would occasionally get girls being all lovey-dovey, and I knew it was just on a show. It was a show, but I was like, I don't care. I'll play with it. Who cares? But then, so I could play around with it. I was very good at making fun of myself growing up. It's kind of a way we get through things, and it's like, it's easier to put this front up than some stuff. It's like, well, you don't want to share that around. So, but with occasionally the pity bit did piss me off a little bit. I was like, I'm normal. Well, I'm not normal. I'm different. But don't let them get away with everything, guys. Come on, I need to be told, don't do that. Or not always, like I had a bit of a silly complex with it, as I taught myself to drive on my learner's license. I don't know if I should be saying this, I probably should have had someone in the car with me, but I was determined to go, I'm just going there, and I was like, a bit silly. It worked out fine. Nothing bad happened. I've got my full license now, and I've been worked as a professional driver for a while, and so I've done all the things now. But doing it, I was being a little bit cheeky, saying, the wheelchair's in the back. I had this story in my head that I was going to tell the cop if he pulled me over. I left my license in my wheelchair, and no, it's not in there. Sorry, I must be at home. Or had this little thing that I was going to play, but it never ended up coming to fruition. Thank God for that. But
how is the car? How is the how do you call, is it like an accessible car? Like
God, I tell you what, the car I've got at the moment is phenomenal. I love it to bits. Tell me more. So I ended up, of all things, it's an interesting story. It's been 6 years in the making. So I applied for a new car through different OTs and doctors and all that. And then I had an application all going, and then the guy left the business. The company was helping get the application sorted.
Sorry, just go back there. Do you apply?
So you can apply. I applied for my car through my occupational therapist. The first time I did it was I was at Rehab Plus in Point Chev in Auckland, and my OT there helped me start a new application to get a car so I could get around. And then things ended up just going different ways, and then and then he left the business, and then I forgot about it. Got back here and found a new OT, and she's like, you need a new car. Well, hang on, this is silly. The way you're doing it is not good for your shoulders. So I had a car. I'll go back to the start with it. I got a car through Burwood Hospital and through the Lotto funding. Initially, this was my first car I ever got years and years and years ago. So I got help through that with occupational therapists, and it all went through Lotto. So that was, thank you people who play Lotto, you helped me get my car. So that was a little while ago, but now that was years ago. And recently, this whole big application of trying to get a new car, my car was pretty dodgy. It's buggered now, the old one. The new one, I finally had my psychologist and a few other people write letters of support. And then my OT said, yeah, okay, we need to get you a car so you can have independence, so you don't ruin your shoulders trying to climb around your car. And I got some funding through the Lotteries Commission, and they gave me enough funding to get a fancy arm hoist, and that was about it.
Is it expensive?
Is very.
More than 50,000?
Not more than 50,000, but the arm that puts the chair in my car was $18,000. So, but going back to a bit of where I got this car from, so the 6 years worth of organising and that, my OT had found a car that was, unfortunately, someone had passed away, and they had the car through ACC. So the person's husband said, hey, we've got the car, just give me what it costs for the car, you can have all the equipment in it. So I managed to, through having a great OT, having some good letters from different people, got this amazing car for the price of the arm, and it has a little crazy robotic arm in the back that puts my chair in and out of the car. It's amazing. It has hand controls already set up. So it's, yeah, an answer to the long answer, but yes, it's a very cool car.
So would you say that New Zealand, Aotearoa, it's on the right track, like when it comes to accessibility? How is the journey? Have you been overseas? Have you compared with other countries? Bit of a long question, but you can.
It's a long question. I've been to the States once for a week and a half, 10 days. I was over there for medical studies. That's where all the GAN kind of Hanazofa stuff was happening. It was from what I remember it was, but it was kind of where in the middle of the city. Most cities are semi-accessible. That was an interesting experience. But otherwise, haven't really been overseas yet. I was going to go before COVID ended up happening, but then, well, we couldn't go overseas suddenly. So thinking about it again, maybe we'll get there.
What about New Zealand? What about the progress that the country is making?
The progress that's happening in New Zealand with the accessibility and everything, I think it's definitely going in the right direction. There is more and more happening. They've got the few different disability groups becoming more out there, getting more recognised, and I'm not involved as much as I'd like to be in things, but I'm wanting to get more involved with things again. But a lot of it has been departments in New Zealand don't talk to each other. I was under Burwood Hospital in Christchurch, which is the spinal rehabilitation. They didn't send my notes to Auckland for 6 years. So I had the Auckland police going, police going, hey, we haven't, we've got a note to ring you. This was 6 years ago. Oh, sorry. So the departments, in the past, there has been a lack of communication between DHB, so Auckland DHB and Waikato and Christchurch and all that, they're getting a lot better, I think, from what I can see. And if that answers a little bit.
6 years, did you say?
Yeah. Some of the stuff where they've got, whoops, we didn't notice you were there. We should have been, whoops, sorry. So it's like, and the squeaky wheel gets the oil here. So if you make more noise and you're more out there, they'll help you, or they'll help or somewhere. But if you're just managing and fine, they'll just, yeah.
Is there any funding or any support that you get, that you apply for?
You can apply for stuff, and there is some funding. So I get a little bit of funding now. It's taken a long time to get to it, and a lot of mucking around and stuff, but if you find the right, it's all about finding the right OT, occupational therapist, or the right doctor who can help link you to the right people. And that's not going to guarantee that anything's going to happen. But it's about being your own advocate, I've found as well. Going, it's not going to happen unless I get out there. Or it wouldn't happen if I didn't have my family going, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Kind of pushing for it or helping.
It really relates to life.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be, because in my view, it should be easier, right? It should be just like, oh yeah, we assessed this case, now we're gonna go this way. Like you having to go after these things, it's like a business trying to get the best deal is a bit weird.
It's a bit different. Well, and New Zealand has a very interesting system we've got ACC and we've got Ministry of Health, which are two different entities. ACC is the Accident Compensation Corporation, which is anything to do with an accident or that sort of thing. ACC will give you a case manager and help out a lot more. I'm not ACC, I'm Ministry of Health. So there is things available, but navigating it, you need a degree to try and navigate the system. They don't tell you what's there. You have to find someone who knows something, who might have heard something from someone, and they go, I'll ring this lady, and then that person might help. And so I'm lucky I've had my family trying to help, and very, very fortunate actually I've had my family doing a lot of things like that, and friends going, oh, how do we help there? Or random people I met, my neighbours going, hey, fuck, let's come and hang on a second. Let's help, let's do this, we can do this, come on. So,
you all, yeah. There's when there's support,
when things, things happen like whoa, things happen quick. It's quite cool actually. It's very cool.
Off to the city tomorrow?
Oh yes, so heading to Jack Johnson tomorrow night.
Ooh, wee.
So quite looking forward to going up and watching that act, going and see him at Western Springs. Hopefully the weather does something nice, but I've got a raincoat otherwise.
Good.
So it'd be nice to go up to Auckland for that.
I think I've seen him a couple of times. I remember, not a big fan, but I like that song. It's so simple as something that nobody knows. You know that one?
Yeah,
What's the name of the song?
It's
you could always listen. You might.
I'm
just
terrible with names.
I like that song.
I know that song. It's a good song. It's a good song.
It's a good drum.
You know, I'm terrible. I'm terrible on the names of songs. I'll remember it. Oh, I know who that is, but
you always after the music. Hey, you love gigs and
I do. I love gigs and
and
parties and dancing.
the circus performance you were telling me about. That's amazing.
So that was great fun. So a very, very good friend of mine got me involved with Circability in Auckland. Circability. Shout out Thomas Hinds. You're a great guy. You helped a lot out with the circus stuff in Auckland there. Circability was... It's a very cool project, getting people with disabilities, be it intellectual or physical, involved in circle arts. Because circle arts is fun. So I was quite involved with all the acrobatics because I was at the gym all the time. I was quite good at holding people up or doing that side of things. So yeah, it was fun. It's a good laugh.
And the dance?
So Pippa, my auntie, is an open floor prana dance teacher, and I go to dancing with her at Mana Retreat Centre on a Tuesday morning. So it's just flowy movement, music. If someone puts music on, I can't help but move. Like, you put music on, I'm going to move. Something in me just moves, and I feel good. I like it. It's enjoyable. It's a bit of an escape and lose yourself in the music.
When you go to a gig, usually there are designated areas for wheelchairs. Like you just rock up, you just come, or like do you have to?
Well, I just go on in and go. Depends what type of gig it is or what the event is. So I'm pretty good at just going in and going, I'm here, guys. Yep.
Here I am.
So at Studio, the venue in Auckland, I'd just go in there and just be part of the crowd. Like at Vector Arena, I'd be up in the stands a bit. I didn't want to get in the mosh, but I'd get squished. So there's certain things where I'm like, yeah, that's maybe not smart. Or I'm a little bit lower, so I just won't be able to see, or I'll get stood on.
Which shows what your Come on, top 5? Am I being generous with a top 5, or you want a top 3?
Top shows that I've been to live, like, oh, brain's gone completely blank on trying to think. I really enjoyed Mythbusters. That was quite a fun show. It wasn't as music-y. Music artists. I've done a lot of festivals, really enjoyed the festivals. Explore was quite a lot of fun. Twisted Frequencies is quite a cool festival. Like Earthbeat was highly, really enjoyed the music at Earthbeat. So I do. Jen Wigmore was cool going to see her.
Here in Fitzyounger, she came here, right? I think I went to that one.
I think it was.
Summer
I can't
concert?
remember that where that was the summer concert. Yeah, that was like I love Smash Mouth. the summer concert, having Smash Mouth there. That's why I went to that summer concert, because I like grew up watching Shrek. I loved Smash Mouth. They were really cool. So that was a really fun gig, concert thing.
They have a great version of that song. Why can't we be friends? It's good. I like that ska vibe.
Oh yeah, God yeah. No, it's cool.
Uplifting.
Yep.
Shrek.
Shrek was cool. I love Shrek. I love the movie. I love the playfulness in it. Mike Myers is always good. Always enjoyed Mike Myers.
Disney fan?
Yeah, Disney. Watch a little bit of it. Not as big time fan, but I do like it.
Yeah, it's funny how you talk to foreigner friends and they all sing the Disney songs in their languages. You know, like you see how massive it is. The thing, like everybody watched those movies and connects and relate to them.
Yep. I didn't grow up watching TV. So a lot of things we didn't really, that wasn't in our sphere. So I grew up watching Our World or nature documentaries.
Oh, yeah.
So we didn't have all that culture growing up for me.
Religious background?
Religious background is what would I say I am? Like, I grew up with all the different festivals, having the nature themes on the table and the North mythology, or I wouldn't say I'm a specific religion. I'm just kind of, there's something out there. There's an energy round or something, but I don't know. I don't go to church per se, but I don't mind it. It's I'm open with. I know there's I work with energy more. I feel, and I don't know what people want to call it, but
it's such a better approach, isn't it? Because it's more, as you said, it's about feeling. It's about what you feel. That's why sometimes some experiences are so hard to explain to people.
Oh God, some are so hard. I don't quite know how to explain what happened, but yeah, it's true.
But we just go there, right? Sometimes, and you find those interesting places, and being comfortable with not knowing things. I think it's a big one.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a hard one.
Because it can be, We like to know what's happening.
We want answers.
We want to know, yeah.
We want answers all the time. And then you find yourself at some crossroads sometimes. Like, man, where do we go from here? Well, Stu always says, my good friend, the obstacle is the way, you know? Like, you got to pay attention to what's there in front of you instead of trying to look all over for the answers, you know? Like, they're just right there in front of you. Keep going.
Yeah, good point.
Do you drink?
Alcohol and me aren't terribly good friends. I've found like it. Occasionally I want to drink. I used to binge drink a little bit, but then all the situations that haven't ended well.
Have you hurt yourself because of that?
I've hurt myself a little bit. I fractured my arm trying to fly down the flight of stairs once. That was a stupid idea. Or I get pulled out of my chair. Like, it turns my body to jelly. So I'll get sloppy and I'll just fall out of my chair, which is no fun. It's like, oh, bugger. So I don't really enjoy it that much. Sometimes I want a bit of a drink once in a while. I like a Kahlua occasionally, or the 1800 coconut tequila, but just a tiny bit once in a while.
Yeah.
So, but no, not really. I prefer non-alcoholic stuff.
We had this conversation at Gabe's party about like what alcohol does to our brain, and when you start to make sense of
what it's doing. Yeah,
puts you off.
It really does. It really does. When you look at it and go, "Oh wow," and especially my body, it doesn't agree with it. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's just something I'll avoid.
Would you say that New Zealand has a strong drinking culture? Like, is it a...
It has, from the people I know from overseas and all that, it's not good. It's definitely, New Zealand has a binge drinking culture. From my people, drink, get drunk, and then, instead of pacing themselves and enjoying it more, I think the aim here, I don't know if it's me speaking, but culturally and what I've experienced and seen is go to a party, everyone gets loaded quickly and just gets drinks. They see what alcohol's got the highest percent or the most standard drinks in a bottle and buy that one. So.
Yeah, I often think about that. It's not in a way of like, oh, how do we solve this problem? You know, like that there's much more qualified people out there to do that. But looking back and paying attention to your own experience, you can kind of like grasp, you can kind of tell what things could work. And I see myself, thinking about that. That's why I like politicians and people who go for those regulations on like what events should be sponsored by alcohol and like what things you should mix with alcohol and which ones you should not.
Nothing.
Hey, as a musician who don't drink that much anymore, like I haven't been drinking, but like sometimes, as you say, like, a sip of a nice, beautiful alcohol, it's
something nice.
You like, appreciate,
you appreciate, and that's having a nice glass of wine with a good meal it's cool. But drinking 2 bottles of wine is not a good idea.
Nah, but like and it's fine for people who do, but like sometimes it frustrates me that an event without alcohol is not an event. Yeah. I watched this beautiful documentary on New Orleans that they have those music clubs at the time, and people would just sit and watch the music, and at some stage it would pick up, so they would dance. Well, like that was no relationship with the consumption of the alcohol. Like you were there for the music.
Yeah, more than...
like I'm just giving an example because I am a musician, but like for so many other things, right? Like it feels like, oh, you cannot have alcohol. I won't even bother going. And I think that's a good way to observe that is a problem. Mm-hmm. It's not people's choice. Like they are being conducted to a place where they're kind of like, oh, it's a condition.
Yeah.
Oh, I won't do that. I won't go because like there's no alcohol. You're like, what? Like you're not gonna go to work if there's no coffee in the morning? Like,
yeah. So I'll go if there's alcohol there. Or I'll come to the party. Or have they got drinks? Or is it free drinks? Yeah, okay, we'll come.
Yeah, we all love free drinks. If you want to drop some at the door here for ALTBAYS,
we're never going to say that. Free stuff is always good. But I know what you mean.
Paying attention, to what's doing to you. When I came here, bro, to Whitianga, I was working at this beachfront cafe. Oh, on fire, probably you remember. Working behind the bar, and I worked with alcohol in Brazil because my parents had a function venue there. So it was a thing, like it was a normal thing. But I thought it was similar. I thought it was the same, but it took me time because my mind was going to different places and I had different priorities. So like work was just keeping me here, like helping me to make my decisions. And then I started to pay attention to the amount of alcohol that people were drinking, and the cutoff times really change people's behavior. Because I was very used to like going out at 11, getting ready at 11, like going to a club at midnight, and then your night just lasts for like as long as you can put up with it. But like here, by having a time that you have to stop, people feel like that missing out.
I need to drink quick. I need to drink before we can't get any more.
Yeah, and that's when it started to put me off. And I remember that there was a good friend. He would come for a drink every now and then he spent a lot of time there. and I was making the cocktails, you know, and I could see what I was doing to him. And that day really marked me. I was like, oh, of course, it's not me. He's drinking.
He's drinking, but you can see the effect it's having.
And I'm the one taking it, you know? Like, it's that classic thing of like the guy who, you know, the judge who says, yeah, death penalty. Like, is he as guilty as the one who
did it? Yeah.
Who pressed the button? You know, like that feeling started to put me off. I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I want to go down that road anymore. Yeah, was an interesting one. But maintaining the appreciation to the substance, to what it does, you know, to the fun bit.
It's interesting how where they're like us and animals, we like alcohol. We get drunk. Animals get drunk. Humans get drunk. It's something that's been around for ages, and it's something that we've tried to find. It's how crops came about, because people made crops so they can make alcohol. So it's been in human society forever, even though most of it they've known it's not good for them. They still want it.
They still want them.
It's a weird, I don't quite understand, but it's just true.
When you left school with that Steiner background, and then you started to going partying, and did you feel major, like big differences from the teenager years, from a style of education to a different one, more mainstream?
Yeah, it was different, where it was like I was the, growing up all through high school, and I was the very innocent little kid who never got drunk. I didn't get drunk the first time until I was 18, 19, I don't think. Yeah, I think it was then. I was at a friend's party and I just was a mess. Fell out of my chair and I was just like, oh fuck, that's not fun. Couldn't move. So it was a big warmth for me. Turned direction, complete opposite direction to when I was younger. So it was interesting observing other things and learning how people grew up, because it was quite different to the way I did. So, but I spent quite a bit of time at friends' places and that, and saw things, observed, but wasn't involved with it. My family didn't drink at home or anything. So
that helps.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Cigarettes?
No,
would you have cigarettes
no,
at home? People
no.
Oh, that helps, all right.
No, I didn't have it all. That was like, it was interesting. Well, we were very, in a way, I was very sheltered. In some ways it was good. In some ways it was not the best idea for me, because then it was like, oh, what's all this stuff? But it was good, because it meant I just wasn't interested. So it's, I was the most anti-tobacco person, you know. When I was younger, I was like, what the heck? So it's funny how things change and perspectives change. And
when you mentioned the dancing and the free flow, you know, like the thing that I love about dancers, and I have like amazing friends, like beautiful dancers, and it was always the thing with like the connection with your body, like how you become aware of your body.
Cool, eh? It's really cool when you go, whoa, and I just see people who are good at it, and I'm like, whoa, I know for me how much that would take, so golly, that's cool.
Was that something that happened to you? Like you just found a whole different space that you could go to, and like
it was a mixture between dance, and it was when I started my kind of gymming properly career in Auckland. The starting getting involved with the gym and a personal trainer, and noticing all the exciting things of, oh wow, you can do that, or if you work on this, that goes like that, or the people and the different approach. So I really, like, we went to Cirque du Soleil a few times and I loved it. It was just like, wow, Cirque du Soleil is amazing what people can do with their bodies. Because I go there, okay, I can't do that, or I struggle to do little things. And then seeing someone pirouetting and doing all that, it's like,
what the fuck?
It's fucking cool, man. I really enjoy it. I love the kind of way people put themselves forward when they're dancers, or the way they are, the way they talk with their body, not their words. The words are part of it, but a lot of it's expressive movement and that sort of kind of crazy stuff.
So much power in that, eh?
God, yeah.
So much power.
Very true. It's very
Being
true.
vulnerable, right? So like being ready to open yourself up for those experiences,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's a big thing. That's a big thing, right? Yeah.
I love it. And I don't drink, so I go to the
You go and
bar
enjoy
the thing,
it.
and
I go to
then
that.
I jump and I'm going crazy and I'm dancing and people keep thinking, what is he on? And I'm like, I'm not. I don't drink
Yeah,
and I'm
just
working at
naturally
school.
having.
So.
I think, yeah, think, what's that guy on? Why are they having so much fun? What's going on? What's like going on? Yeah.
Empowering. Same with singing, bro.
God,
I
yeah.
play the drums and I've always sung. So like I was always into the backing vocals thing, you know, to support the singers. And then more recently, I started to experience more like singing, being at the front, and so many people. So I love karaoke's and all that stuff, you know, because it's a great time to practice. Like the sound is
it's fun,
good,
isn't
you
it? Yeah.
it's amazing. But the funny thing is, so many people come to say, "Man, that was cool." Like, oh, I wish I could do that.
I wish I could do
that. And I'm like, well, there are a lot of hard things that I wish I could do. Like singing is quite tribal. It's quite primal, you know, like it's something that is quite healing. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing. I know that it like sounds easy because I've been doing it for a while, but like when I started to look from that perspective of like, this is making me feel great. So I tell them, I'm like, you don't have to do it at the pub in front of all these people, but like, do you do it at home? Like, do you yell? Like, do you scream? Like, do you sing in your car? You should.
God, yeah. Find your voice, make it loud, scream at something. Yeah.
Go for it, eh?
God, yeah.
Healing.
It's healing, and it's quite funny hearing yourself sing sometimes. I definitely don't get me up singing. It sounds like I don't know what's happened, but occasionally it happens. I get my leg pulled and someone's doing karaoke and I go, yeah, well, it didn't sound as good as it could have, but I gave it a go.
Exactly. Do you like kids?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're fun. I love the energy they bring out, and, you know, they're cool. They talk to me more than their parents do sometimes. The kid will have a conversation, the parent will be all like, oh, what's going on? And the kid will be like, oh, hi, how's it going? And have a little chat.
Are they curious when they see you? Like they ask questions and stuff?
Sometimes, yeah, that brings me to, sometimes very curious, or go, what's that, or what's going on? Or when I was a few years back now, I used to have a Superman t-shirt I'd put under my, so I'd go to the kids and they go, and I go, I'm in disguise, shh. And just playing that little thing with them or going, or I'd be like, oh, my legs just weren't doing what they're told today, they've been naughty. Or playing it, or that sort of thing, or the curiosity is. It's great.
Do you want to have kids?
Oh, we'll see what I'm quite
Hard
happy.
question.
It's
Sorry,
a hard
not a great.
question.
I don't like the question. Sorry, internet.
It's an interesting one, and sometimes it's like, I don't know. I've got a puppy. She's amazing. That's cool. That keeps me busy enough. I'm quite happy being an uncle. So I've got a little nephew, and he's amazing. Great little kid. Kids, I don't know, haven't really, don't know. I haven't really, I'm quite happy at the moment. Not now, God no, I'm not set up in a way to do that. I had to find the right person to do that with, and so
that's usually when it happens, when you're not expecting.
Yeah, when you're not expecting things, that's when it happens, apparently, yeah.
I just like again, it's not my favorite question, but I'm always curious to see how people see the idea of a very normal thing as humans, which is like giving continuity to what we are, but a society, a system that really makes it very hard, because having a family means that you kind of like stop thinking about the collective to think about your own family, because you have to feed that, you know, like in old times, you would have the whole community looking after all the kids, so that would make much more sense to have children. And nowadays, it is kind of like an option, you know, like you have to really focus if you...
It's more of an option. It's a big financial thing as well. It's like, well, have I got the financial position or that to be able to bring up a child?
Yeah.
They're not cheap to bring up.
It's not cheap. Or like, well, and also it depends like on what kind of lifestyle do you want to have.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, do you want to still doing your things, or do you want to have the next... I like to say that my mum's, and now she's in her bringing up another little kid. It's like, hang on, when does your life start? Or it's I think it's a big decision. It's a very big decision from people I've seen that have had kids, and that's the best thing that ever happened to them, and people who haven't had kids who would like them. It's situational. Suits the person, whoever it is. But yeah, get a puppy first, in my opinion. Try that first. I'm like, there's a lot. Just to bring up a puppy's enough. You give that a go before you decide to have kids.
Man, I think that's one of the reasons why I work with children, because it gives me the opportunity to be around them, like the energy, what they bring, the curiosity, the questions, like the way that they see life, because we get caught up with the things that we have to do as an adult. And then you forget about the child that still lives within.
Yep.
So by talking to a child, you're putting yourself there.
But
you go within and you're like, oh, let me bring that crazy little boy to have a chat here with this other little one. And beautiful things come out of that.
It's cool, eh? It's good, yeah. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm always like, hey, Sush, what do you think? Yeah?
Yeah.
Look at her, man.
Mate, you smell good. I should have brought Aura along. I didn't think about it, but...
What's her name, sorry?
Aura.
Aura.
Like
Aura?
Or it's like Aura, yeah. Well, just after I got her, my neighbour came down and was running around the garden with her, and it brought out this amazing energy, and I'm like, oh, Aura's a good name. Sweet. Sorted. We couldn't think of what to call her, and now it's like, yeah, she's definitely an Aura. Amazing. Brings out a very special energy, and she's a happy home today.
Yeah? Does she hang just there by herself?
She doesn't like me leaving her there.
Did you leave the TV on for her to watch you?
Put some music on and the salt lamps on, but she does. Yeah, I don't usually go anywhere without her, but I didn't know about bringing her here tonight. I should have brought her now.
Next time, man, we'll bring her back.
It's always another time.
How was that mission with the Give a Little page?
Wow, so that is...
Now you're a star. You're everywhere talking about that.
Blooming heck, I was like... So that happened.
Sorry, are we the less accessible building in Whitianga that called you for a chat?
I think he may have been.
Yeah,
like, if you'd not been...
ALTBAYS, not
I was
good.
like, yeah, let's do it.
Still,
hey, we made it up. I'm here. We got it up in one piece.
Going down would be interesting.
We'll find out. I bounce. Just push and I bounce. Put a little mattress down the bottom, or we should get some mattress and go sliding down that staircase. That'd be great fun.
Sorry, bro. Tell me this story.
Okay. What story was
it? Give a little.
Oh yes, give a little. So this is really cool, actually. This was one of my neighbours just came up to me one day and he was like, I'm going to help you do a fundraiser. Have you ever thought about getting like one of those little electric bike things that it sits out the front of your chair? And I was like, oh yeah, I thought about it, kind of looked into it. It's bloody expensive. I ain't got the money at the moment for that sort of thing. And it just kind of hadn't been top of my thought list of priorities. He's like, I'm going to help you out here. You just watch the space. And he was going to go around just a few quietly telling, and then it got bigger and then turned into this, and then it was like, and he found some amazing contraption over in Australia, which is the same one I was looking at getting, but third of the price. So I was like, cool, thank you. And then he's like, and then next second, some lady from the Informer, Pauline, lovely lady, came around.
Shout out to Pauline.
She was amazing and came and had a chat, and then I was like, whoa, hang on a second, I was not expecting, so it was really humbling. It was a nice little chat, and having some person not related, someone I just met, neighbour, come up and go, I'm going to help you out here. This looks like it would be a bit easier if you get a bit of this and that. And so it's gone so quick. It's been like, whoa. And I haven't managed to get all the replies to everyone yet. And I didn't realise I could reply to some of it because he'd created the page for me. So it was completely not my doing. And then the next thing is all happening, and I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. Holy mackerel, this is cool. So it's given me a bit of a lease on life again. It's got me out there, and it's got me a bit more, oh yeah, I can do things again. So it's
So
Very exciting.
What is it? Is it like a powered?
So it's an electric wheel that has handlebars. So it's like a electric bike that has one wheel that clips onto the front of my chair and turns my chair into a bike.
Gangster.
Into a little bike, which is really cool. It will be, I'll be able to get around more. I'll be able to go into town without struggling. I'll be able to get places faster. Be good because pushing a wheelchair is not very good for your shoulders or your pecs. So my pecs are overdeveloped and always sore. So my shoulder joints, but then, hey, it's what you live with. That's why I go to the gym to counteract the other stuff. So, but this little contraption, it will just get me, I'll be able to keep up with people. I'll be able to go on little tramp things more a little bit that are accessible, but I'll be able to get there without getting too tight. Because my muscles, they look all right, but most of them it's just show. Because my nerves are the ones that don't work. So no matter how big the muscles are, it doesn't help if they're not actually being told what to do.
So what exercises actually support you? Is it like weightlifting or is it more like stretch based?
So that's why one of the reasons why I've got Patrick, the guy I'm training with at the moment, who's an ex-dancer.
Shout out to Patrick.
Patrick is amazing. He knows my body a little bit, and he knows a functional movement. So it's about doing movements that mean I can live easier. So doing movements or exercises that help me get into my chair, or help me get off the floor into something, or help me get my arm up so I can grab something, or doing movement that's everyday stuff that helps, but that's also doing it in a playful, dancey, expressive manner so we can just play with it. So I used to just hard out gym with all the different machines, and it gets a bit boring. It's good sometimes. I used to love boxing. I used to do boxing with David Tua, so that was pretty cool.
David Tua.
He's quite a good. He's a good boxer. He's got a big name. He was heavyweight Samoan champion, and I used to box with him, so that was really cool. So
is he Auckland based?
He was in. He had Tua martial arts at a big boxing place, and so it was pretty cool. And I didn't do a lot, but it definitely got me into the boxing, the thrill and the joy of actually letting a bit of anger out, and don't have many outlets like that. So boxing a boxing bag or something is quite good.
Have you been to a fight before? Have you had something with someone like giving you shit, or you had to?
Not really. I haven't got into any physical fights. I've nearly, but I'm pretty damn good at diffusing situations. I'm pretty good at diffusing things. So I tend to get on the good side of most people. I tend to try to avoid any confrontation, or if I don't like you, you'll know, because I'll probably squash your toes or run over you, but most of the time I try and stick away from that sort of violent confrontation. Other people who want to do that. I don't want to be involved. So
it feels to me like it's something that we have, and we should never deny that, or avoid those feelings that come up, but like really pay attention to them to see how we can channel them into different things. Like in New Zealand, I get to see so many fights, but the more that I see them, I understand that it's not that they hate each other. It's just like this thing of wanting to have a punch up.
Wanting to have a fight. Yeah.
But sometimes it gets gnarly because there's alcohol involved. So it gets out of hand.
Yeah, that's when it goes bad. When you mix alcohol in any situation, is generally when it goes from being fun, kind of playful, to all sides.
Oh, man. It's just too much. So I'm on the same vibe. I look around and I'm like, why are you wasting your energy, fighting? Like, you can channel that into the sport and doing amazing
something creative, do it into music or dance or painting or sculpture.
So what are your top sports? You told me about basketball.
So I used to play Canterbury wheelchair basketball for Canterbury. So that was a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed playing basketball. As my hands got a little bit worse over the years, I started playing wheelchair rugby. So wheelchair rugby is quite a lot of fun as well.
So does it get so what's the thing when people like get to the, how do you call it, like the get all together and like
The scrum.
the scrum, yeah.
It's wheelchair rugby is full contact. So it's pretty brutal. It's known as murder ball.
Can you grab the wheelchair and
you're not allowed to do that, but the aim of the game is one person down one end of the court, the other one, and go full pout.
Really?
And see if you can knock them over or knock them out of their chair. It's a brutal. Wheelchair rugby is brutal. This is coming to it. I'll get there in a second. But so yeah, I played wheelchair basketball for Canterbury. Played that for quite a few years and won quite a few tournaments, and that was great. But I was not the best at it. But I was all right. When I went to Auckland, I was training with the Wheel Blacks and the Auckland team, and I was definitely not at their standard, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. I was playing for a while, and then silly me didn't strap myself in one day, and guess who came up with broken ribs? So yeah, using a wheelchair and having fractured broken ribs is not fun. It is not fun. So I got crashed into it, fell forward, because the wheelchair rugby wheels are up quite high. The wheel went under my rib cage, so I was down like that, wheel under the rib cage, and then someone came smashing up behind me, and it just lifted, and yeah. So I haven't played wheelchair rugby since then. But that was, yeah, pretty much. It was good. It was good.
He's listening.
And hand cycling, I used to do time trials on a road bike.
How fast can you go?
So my max speed was 36 km an hour.
Say it again.
36 kilometres an hour on the hand cycle. So that was, I don't know, I was pretty damn happy with that speed, pushing with my arms. I was quite happy getting up to that. I know people get a lot faster, but hey, that was my experience.
And knowing that there's no one coming towards you helps, right?
That kind of helps. That kind of helps. And that was on flat. So, and then I've got a hand operated mountain bike that is admittedly at the end of its life. I'm needing to maybe look into something different, but
yoga, bro.
That's yoga. Yeah, yoga will be good. No, with the bike, yoga's good. Yeah, doing yoga sort of things is really good as well.
So how is it? Did you say All Blacks? So they have like the
Wheel Blacks.
The Wheel Blacks.
Wheel Blacks is the New Zealand wheelchair rugby team. They're pretty good. So I never played in any of the games. I played with them a few times, but I was not at their level. Would be nice to be at that level, but I'm not. I just haven't gotten enough training with them.
Do those guys make a living out of that?
I don't think you can in parasport yet. So, most of them, they do the sport and then they got their normal whatever going on as well. I know there are a few, definitely there are athletes and chairs that do make a living out of it, but I don't personally know them. So, but it's getting better and better, and New Zealand is reasonably high up there in most sport anyway with our sporting world. So we're getting a bit more in the, hopefully one day. It would be nice to.
It would.
Yeah, it would be cool to see. It would be cool to see.
Yeah, it feels like things it just takes time, eh?
And it takes time and people getting educated, people being aware of it. Like we'd have Paralympics, not many people knew it was on.
That's right.
The wheelchair rugby, they had a wheelchair rugby tournament in Auckland, the Nationals the other day, and they had Japan over, and they had Australia over, and Canada, and a bunch of people. No one knew about it.
Well, it's hard to get people to appreciate women playing sports.
I know, women's playing sport. Why, even on the women's rugby team, you see the ads for the women's rugby? Maya, the lady in the wheelchair rugby chair. Played rugby with her. She's really cool.
Yeah?
Really cool lady.
Where does she live? Let's bring her here and you can co-host the show with us.
Auckland.
Yeah?
Yeah. My,
Should we do that? That would be cool.
That would be epic.
Cool.
She's a really, really cool lady. She's hardcore. Oh God, yeah, to be at her level of wheelchair rugby is impressive. How would we get in contact with her? Oh, we'll find a way. We'll find a way to get in contact with her. But God, yeah, some of those guys, some of the New Zealand wheelchair athletes or disabled athletes are really, really at the top of their game. It's quite cool to see.
We have to do some research, hey Taylor? You're gonna help us, bro?
Yeah,
let's make that happen.
Yeah, let's do it. God, yeah, get more of them involved. God, yeah, that'd be awesome.
We got Obi-Wan Cha-cha-cha saying hi. Thanks for watching. And Johan, sorry.
Hey,
Johan Magri. We love you, Azzie. So stoked for you, man. Spread the love. You're an inspiration to us all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So having these beautiful people supporting you, I guess it means a lot, eh?
Oh, you have no idea how much it means having such a good team of support around here. It's why I'm still alive. It's definitely quite humbled to how supported I am by certain people, and it's a really, really cool community here as well. It's like Kua is great. It's where family is, but Whitianga, the whole Mercury Bay community, everyone that's helped me, still the fundraising for my bike and give a little, it was just dunk. Within a week we'd made the money. It was like holy mackerel. It was just, and it was so cool.
What about the counseling thing that you got into, the psychology thing?
Psychology counselling. So when I left, one of the things I studied a bit at uni was counselling. And it's something, because I used to volunteer at Burwood Hospital. And I'd just be with patients, talking to people. And naturally people just come and talk to me and stuff. And it's through my own counselling journey, I wanted to learn about it. So I studied it for a while. I didn't finish my degree. My psychologist keeps telling me I should go back and study and get qualified because he's got people to send to me. I'm like, yeah, I'll get there. I've got too many things on my plate at the moment. So, but it's something that is very important, I think. Very important to have someone who you can talk to, you can share things with, who you can share ideas and go, am I on the right track here, or have I learnt something or been told something in the past that's completely opposite, but I believe it is truth because someone told me. I'll use an example. If when I was 15, I think 16, I had my psychologist at the time say, okay, what's your life, what does it look like? How are you? So you're going to have the next 10 years of you exercising every day, trying your hardest, then you're going to die. Or you're going to have the next 7 years of just chilling out, having fun, and you're going to die. So you're going to spend it exercising, working hard, or you're going to just chill out, whatever. What do you think the 15-year-old kid's going to do? He's going to go and play with his friends and not give a shit. Worst mistake I ever made. Worst brain thing. I had a psychologist tell me, stop caring. Stop worrying about it. Just have fun. And that was a trained fucking psychologist telling a little kid with a progressive degenerative nerve disease to stop exercising and just chill. It's taken quite a few years worth of very good psychologists and people going, that was wrong. They shouldn't have said that to you. That's not you. And me going, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's not me at all. Or being told I would be dead by the time I was 25. So I stopped caring. And I was like, no, that's not right. I'm 32 now and I'm doing better than I was 5 years ago. So I'm glad we didn't fully listen to that guy. And I had some good trained psychologists and counsellors help me unlearn what I thought a doctor professional because you believe the doctors. Well, that's what you're told to do.
Yeah, same with politicians.
And politicians. And then I go, well, hang on a second. But then maybe that's all he knew at the time. So that was a few years ago now, but I'm doing a lot better than I was then. Put it that way.
Man, I hope, it's just life that takes its own course, and if it takes you there, that's where you should be for sure. But it makes a lot of sense, the counseling thing and you talking to people, because in a way you humble people, like I've been working with the learning support at the Magri Bay Area School now for almost 7 years. And I always, it's funny because when you tell people, there's always that feeling of like,
yeah, there's always that feeling, but it's but that's but what are you going to do about it?
And then my first reaction is always, I learned so much more. I learned so much more by working with people with is it right to say with disabilities?
Yeah.
Like, because it changes, right? The term
it
sometimes.
depends what's PC these days.
Yeah. I even ask my superior sometimes.
I'm like,
do I have terms to say?
Yeah.
But it really humbles me, like to be there, because I pay attention to how the frequencies that people are so different, like, and for some people it's very obvious that they are on a different frequency wavelength, like, so it's not their job to adapt to the rest. Like, it's our job to get into that vibe.
Yeah.
And get the best out of them and see how you can support it, because they will be supporting you, like it.
Oh yeah, and then when you find the right thing and the right thing that works for that person, it's amazing. It's like, whoa.
And it's actually with all of us like that, isn't it?
We all, it's so true. We all learn differently. You can't, if you give everyone a standardized test, the fish is not going to pass the same test the monkey does. It's different. It's like with people with learning, some people learn kinesthetically, some people learn orally, some people learn visually. It's learning styles. I'm definitely a bit more kinesthetic than I thought I was. I have to do something in order to learn it. I can't read it. Well, I can, but I don't really take it in. So it's like everyone learns differently.
That makes much more sense to become a better professional, because then you stop complaining about the children. Yeah. Children, that's how I see it. You're like, it's my responsibility to understand what's the best thing that they need. I understand that it's a hard system because you put a lot of them in the same classroom, and then it's madness, poor teachers. But that ability to pick up on he's better at the visual, he's better at the
and I think
oral
Magri
skill.
Bay does do that quite well. I've had a few friends that they've thrived because they're now missioners are chefs, or they're doing phenomenally because they've whatever the program is, work to their talents, work to their strength. Instead of putting them in a classroom doing nothing, they've gone and it's helped them go. They're going diving, they're going this, they're going to that, they're doing that work X. So we've had some good things.
Opportunities, yes. Give people opportunities, but also teach them how to identify the opportunities. I think that's even more important sometimes.
God,
They are out there all the time, the opportunities, but you got to have the eye for them.
You got to have the eye for them. And that's a little bit about what, like, me and some friends at the moment, we're looking at creating and setting up as some had the idea of as access, or setting up some charity or something that is involved with creating Magri Bay Coromandel accessible, and that puts it into what is accessible, what do we need to make it accessible for different people, starting a conversation on it, getting the equipment, be it beach chairs, be it the off-road rigs that can get them up tramping, creating something. And so a few friends and I were talking at the moment, throwing ideas together and how we could use, if I can do it, well, how do we get more people to come and do it? How do we learn from them doing it with me to teach others? So it's all about that learning, and you're right.
Sharing ideas.
Talk.
God, yeah. Okay, we got one more question before we wrap it up. Hey, Azzie, have you thought about training to go to Paralympics? Those biceps could do you well with some weightlifting. Thanks, Janine. Janine Venom. Kia ora.
Thanks, Janine. Thank you.
Let's put-
Thought about it. So because of the way the kind of in Paralympic sports and disabled sports they have, you get given a class that you can compete in. And because of the way my condition worked, athletics or those sort of things would be not, I would be ranked in a category with people where it would be very difficult for me to compete competitively. So I can get involved with things still, but just, so yeah, I've thought about it, but the logistics behind it all makes it, I could do it for fun, but getting in a category where I can be actually competitive and do that would be a bit difficult. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's stick to the cacao.
Yeah, stick with the cacao, doing that. God, I love the cacao stuff. Doing that little, that's I like those sort of things.
Can you let us know about the next ceremony? I
Could
think
you?
I had it once a long time ago, and it was like a week drink. You know, like I got the gist of it. I could tell how amazing it could be, but I think I need a proper one. So
Yeah, I'd say so. I know some people, and I'll talk to them, and we'll see. We'll create.
Is it legal? Is it like an okay thing, like that you can just buy and do your thing?
Oh yeah, it's just chocolate.
It's cacao.
It's cacao.
There's nothing that you mix with.
No.
Oh, good.
It's completely anyone can have it. Like, just don't give it to your dog or a horse.
Sushi. So you.
So yeah, no. So
you wait.
oh yeah, it's not good for them. It's definitely not good for dogs or horses.
Good. I will remember that.
But yeah, humans, it's very good for you. It's very good for you.
My friends, thanks for doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me. Cheers.
We'll bring you back.
Sounds good to me.
If you
Sounds
want.
good to me. Yeah, why not? Why not?
That's what I
I'll
want.
see. I'll watch it and see how I went, and then we'll go see if it's good or not.
Sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, Taylor. Thanks for the people watching us at home. It's been an amazing week. So many cool things happening. It's going to be a beautiful summer. We got amazing guests coming on board. Mr. Log Cabin, the DJ from Fat Freddy's, he had some shit going on. We're still trying to bring him. So it is going to happen. Stay with us. We're back on Monday with Mr. Tony Masters. He's a volunteer for the Coast Guard. On Wednesday, we have the beautiful Deli Connell coming to have a chat with us. It's going to be very special. And then on Friday, I'm not too sure, but you will know if you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And go enjoy your weekend. Bye. Peace. Ciao.